Okay, so we'll just wait. So yeah, we'll just wait until we are actually live and recording now. So Jim, when we're ready at 2 o'clock, I guess you'll do an introduction to us both, and then what I'll do is I'll be able to kind of take you both out.
Take us out.
I'd like that anytime.
Yeah. Well, I thought we'd take you out in a rugby tackle kind of way.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking maybe go out for a nice meal somewhere nice in Aberdeenshire. Stonehaven's got some nice places.
Why am I getting a delay? Is that because I've got...
I don't know, Jim.
Yeah.
It's fine for me. That's
maybe it's the further you get away from civilization, Jim. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got 56 people joined us already, which is fantastic. So it is now 2 o'clock. So Jim, over to you.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome everybody to our Aberdeenshire Council webinar today. We're super excited to have Louise Jones from ThingLink to kick off our entire week of guest presenters, or as the ladies have called it, the new band, if you've seen the Twitter. And today they're going to be joined by Dougie Kinnear from A Boyne Academy. And I can assure you, Dougie, that my son is working very hard on all that work that's been said.
Good to know, absolutely.
So I'm sure everybody's going to find this presentation today super exciting. I've used ThingLink for many years. It's really, really good, really easy to use, but I'm not the expert to tell you about this. So without further delay, it's over to Louise. Thank you very much, Louise.
Thanks. Right, so I just removed Jim and Dougie from the stream at this point. So thank you ever so much, Jim, for that lovely introduction, and great so many of you can join us on this webinar today. I'm actually in Scotland as well, and I'm actually over in Aviemore where the sun is shining today. Some of you might recognise me from my previous role. I had a national role with the Google for Education team, supporting the development of Google for Education in Scotland, and before that I was at the Highland Council. So I'm not quite sure how long we've got, but usually we will run about 30 to 40 minutes. And Jim asked me to give you a demonstration of ThingLink and show you some of the examples that are popping up across Scotland. Some that have been kind of forced, mother is the, the invention, the saying there, I can't remember. Anyway, so yeah, some really nice examples that are particularly popping up around transition, which is fantastic, and also how ThingLink can be used for choice boards as well. So we'll give you some examples of those. So I've got a short presentation and I've shared the presentation with you. It's bit.ly /ThingLink welcome. So you are welcome to go and have those slides and create a copy, use them. There's lots of helpful videos in there. And the other thing I'd like you to do is to pop questions into the chat as well, because we want to take lots of questions. And I always think it's useful in a webinar if the presenter stops, take some questions, let everything just digest a bit, and then carry on. So if that sounds all right to you, I'll just crack on with the presentation. So I'm just going to share my screen with you now. And there we go. Now you should be able to see my screen perfectly. So the first thing that I want to do is just to show you a presentation. It's the one that I've actually shared with you, which I'm going to give you a bit of background to as well. So some of you might have used ThingLink before. It's actually been around 10 years. It's quite mature now. And it also had a really big development a couple of years ago where the editor, the interface was completely changed. And since then, in the last few years, ThingLink has actually become a Microsoft Gold partner and a Google for Education partner. And the reason I mentioned those is actually quite important, because what that means is that there's integration. So for example, with Microsoft, Immersive Reader, which is fantastic for accessibility, is embedded into the text labels. So that means that if you create a tag in ThingLink, the description, the body of the text, it's baked in, you can't switch it on and off, will open up into Immersive Reader. And as many of you will be aware, that opens up a whole plethora of opportunities for accessibility. Also, we are a Teams app, and I'd like to say now that We are working with the Glow team on making sure that there's integration with the Teams app. It is on the roadmap for us, so that's something that will come along, hopefully. And then on the other side, we've got Google for Education, and we have integration with Google Classroom, and we are part of the Chrome App Hub. So in order to develop those relationships, we have to be GDPR compliant. So I don't want you to worry about that side of things. And I've also sent all those credentials over to Jim as well. And just delighted to tell you that ThingLink won a prize for the UNESCO ICT and Education Prize. And the reason for winning that prize was because ThingLink is used heavily for e-learning, particularly in places that are really inaccessible. And a model of e-learning to help young women develop entrepreneurial skills in Saudi Arabia was developed, and it was deemed to be so successful by the judges, it won the ICT and Education Prize from UNESCO. So what is ThingLink? So ThingLink, and on my slides, there's a really lovely video there for you, which you can play. It offers a really simple way for you to upload an image, and that might be a photo. It could be an infographic that you've created a JPEG from. It could be, say, like a poster that you've got the image of, and you can take that and you can make it accessible and add in interactive hotspots. But not only can you use that with an image, you can also upload a 360-degree image, and you can take that with your phone or a camera, and you can also upload a video, and you can also upload a 360 video. So you've got 4 choices of your base media, and then you can add in all the hotspots. And as you can see there, it's used by 30 million people globally every month. So I mentioned e-learning, but it's also used in marketing. So Coca-Cola, Arsenal Football Club, some of these really big kind of companies use ThingLink for their advertising and marketing. But I'm more concerned about the education side of it, and that's where it grew, really. So Ula, who is my boss and founder of ThingLink, she developed ThingLink when she was at university 10 years ago. And there's a really nice blog post, which I'll link, and it talks about the history. And Ula had this vision that she could develop this way for young people to develop their cognitive skills based on Vygotsky's theory of interaction. So it's really mature. It's been running about 10 years. And if you look at the history, it's really quite inspirational to think of Ula as a young woman developing this product that's been so successful. And in the early days, she took advice from people like Jimmy Wales, who went on to develop Wikipedia. It's a really small company. There's only me and Ula as the women in the company, and there's about 12 other developers, and based in California and Finland. But ThingLink was born in Finland, and the education system there. Just a bit of background. ThingLink works on any device and any browser, so it'll work very comfortably on your Mac, on your PC, or Chromebook. And it also works on your mobile devices, so it'll work on your phones. There is an iOS app, and I will tell you that the iOS app isn't great. I think I'd feel more comfortable just saying that now. It is due an upgrade. It's based on our old editor. As you remember, I said that it had an upgrade. But what it does do really well is it works in the browser of your mobile device. So if you're on Safari or Chrome browser on a mobile version, it actually gives you a bit of extra functionality, because you can just take a photo with your iPad or your phone and then upload that directly into a ThingLink and edit. And of course, the other part of this is that, and I mentioned 360, is that you can use this with Google Cardboard, Oculus, HTC, even with Class VR Kit. So it's your way of creating your own immersive learning experiences for 360. So some people might have used Tour Creator, Google Tour Creator, which works with Cardboard. And this is slightly similar, except ThingLink has much more functionality. And of course, you can use it with normal images as well as 360 and videos as well. So I think it's probably a really nice idea to start off and just tell you a bit about why ThingLink. And you'll all be aware of the Scottish Education Awards, which were announced this week, and I was just super chuffed to see Manor Park Primary there. And when I started working for ThingLink, I really kind of found ThingLink first. I've been using it for a while, but I didn't realize how good it had got. And I spoke to Ula, who's the founder, and I said, there's just such potential here, particularly in Scottish education, where we've got, you know, the sketch notes, which are done for inspections and people creating posters. And this is the poster that Manor Park Primary created with the Children's Parliament. And it is a poster that is the young people's expectations around relationships of adults in Manor Park Primary School community. And I was like, yeah, these are great. And these sketch notes are great. But to be honest, sketch notes are a bit visually kind of cluttered for me. They just look like a lot of jumble of words. And unless I've been to a conference and then I get the sketch note afterwards, if I wasn't at the conference, it doesn't make me feel like I've understood all the concepts. So I thought it'd be really cool if you took that poster, and then wouldn't it be great if you could actually embed young people's voices in it, so it really showed them what that meant to them. But not only embed young people's voices, you can start adding in text, which opens up into immersive reader. And then if you shared this with parents and carers, suddenly it makes it accessible. And this is the first proper ThingLink I created, and Jenny Watson from Education Scotland put Manor Park in touch with me. So, for example, this now has been brought to life. And I haven't got the audio playing there because I've got my window open, but I'll share this with you so you can see. But this poster now is the embodiment of those young people's voices. And to me, and that's my background, is around youth culture and how young people can express themselves and how we can have more connection. And this, to me, just sung out. And this, of course, is just a link now, and that can be a QR code and embedded into a website. It can be published, but you could also print off the poster and put the QR code there. Someone could scan it and look at this poster. So yeah, delighted to hear that Manor Park have actually been one of the finalists for making a difference at the Scottish Education Awards. So back to my presentation. So you're probably now wanting to know a little bit more about what ThingLink is. And I've got a really nice example here that I've, I'm showing you everything in advance now. Here we go. So this is a 360 image. This is a stock image on our ThingLink platform. So we have lots of images that you can clone. And I've just put in a whole bunch of hotspots to show you what this looks like and what the different tag types are. So here you can see I can scroll around and travel around my 360-degree image. And what I've done here is I've just put in, here's some text and also some images. And of course, this will open up into immersive reader. And then I can also translate this into a number of different languages. This also with text and to speech. And I can also, as I mentioned, change all the reading preferences. So I'll just change it there into Catalan, for example. There we go. And that would also play back to me. So instantly, you know, I've created something which is accessible. It's brought this 360 to life. But not only can I embed text media, as in videos or GIFs, into those tags, you can also embed other things that you might like using. Now, I like using Google Forms, and here I've embedded a Google form. So instantly you have got a tool where you could create some content and ask questions about that content. And this is being used a lot in e-learning, health and safety mandatory videos, for example, in the oil industry. You can embed your Microsoft forms, and they work just as well. And then you can also start to think about other things that you might like using. I like Scratch. So I've got a Scratch animation. Luckily, the sound is off because it is actually me trying to sound like the Scratch cat, but this will work. And I've seen one school that's created a tour of their school, and they've actually created Scratch animals to tell people what they're looking at. Calendars, Flipgrid embeds beautifully, so you could have your Flipgrid ready there so that it could pop up with examples and feedback and comments from the pupils. So you can see that you can add text and media tags. You can add any kind of embedded content, whether that's maps. You could even, if you wanted to, create your Memoji video on your phone and then upload your Memoji. So there you go. There's just a whole wealth of different tags there, but it just shows you the different types: embedded media or text and media, or you can have plain tag types, or you can even link your ThingLinks together using a Tor tag, which I'm going to show you. So just a really nice example there. So the actual example that I really wanted to start to show you, which was just super, and this is kind of what started to inspire, I think, a number of transition ideas. And this is Pennybont Primary School in Wales. And Pennybont is in Bridgend. And the head teacher here has taken those 360-degree videos, and what they've done is they've just linked them together. So those icons are just the Tor tag. And then what they did is they wanted a way for pupils to feel connected with their school. They didn't want them to lose that sense of, that's my place and space. And I love my classroom and I love my teacher, and I might be okay learning at home, but I really want to keep in touch with my teacher and help that move back to school. But also the teachers wanted to send special messages to the pupils. And I haven't got the sound on this, but you'll be able to explore it. But what the teacher's done here is that she's actually doing a song in Welsh, and she's saying how much that she misses the pupils. So this whole school, the pupils can tour with the parents and explore each of the classrooms and then listen to hidden messages from the teachers, which I just think is fantastic. So these kinds of examples are just starting to pop up all over. So you've sent an image, a 360 image there, and then you start to think about what you could do, for example, if you enabled young people to really explore these. And this is Stirling High School, and the pupils have created a tour from home of the school layout. And this is on a site which is then sent out to the pupils. And on each of the tags, there's video that the pupils have created, and they're embedding in there as well. So that's just a snippet, and I think I probably talked enough. So I'm going to stop now and see what questions there are. So I'm just going to stop my stream there and stop there. Okay, so any questions so far? And I'll just bring Jim back in. Jim, any thoughts so far? Any questions?
No, I'm not seeing any. I've only just managed to get to the comments, but I'm not seeing any questions at the moment. But it's looking good. I'm quite liking the different ways that can be shown, for even as simple as making a overhead plan of the school more interactive. Already that makes it more accessible for youngsters. So I'm kind of liking that. And the 362 around the school where you're hyperlinking to different images, that looks fantastic. Really good.
Absolutely. So one of the questions that's come up in some of the other webinars is kind of, what's the account situation? And it's probably a nice time here before we talk to Dougie and see what he's been doing in Aberdeenshire around transition. And also I've got some other examples that I accidentally popped up there. So with ThingLink, you can create a free account. It's a completely free service. But that does give you limited functionality. And I do want to say that obviously my background's education, and then I work for a local authority, and then I've worked in the industry as well. It's quite rare to come across a product like ThingLink where genuinely there are no adverts, and it's GDPR compliant. There's no big kind of paywalls there hiding functionality. With a free account, you get all of the functionality, but what you don't get is the powerful kind of publishing tools like unlimited views. So you could create your ThingLink, you could share it, but then you've only got a certain amount of views, because obviously that's what incurs the costs on the servers. And then if you wanted to, individual teachers can do an upgrade, and that enables them to just collaborate with students, so they can add students in. But what is the preferred model is to have a local authority kind of account, and then the local authority buys it for the local authority, and they issue out accounts codes so that teachers, even though they've got free accounts, can enter the code and then they're part of the local authority. And again, this works out, it's quite cheap. It's £1.50 per user per year, because ThingLink's revenue stream isn't really about this. It's about the ways it's used for marketing e-learning. So people like Woolworths will use it, like for e-learning, as I mentioned, healthcare industry. There's a lot of really, really good examples there. So it's really nice to genuinely work for a product that is very education focused. But going back to COVID and some of our offerings, so we upped the classroom teacher account, which is a single teacher, to have 60 students. It was 35. But I think the most useful thing is that we've lifted our base video size. So you can upload a 10 gigabyte video to ThingLink, and it will create a ThingLink of your video, and then you can put all your hotspots in. And that's up to 10 gigabyte now. So what that means in essence is that you don't have to use YouTube if you have a 10-minute video, sorry, up to 10 gigabyte video. You could create that video and then embed it back into your site website, share it out through Classroom or Teams. And I think one of the reasons we did that was because a number of parents were saying that teachers were sending YouTube links and pupils were getting distracted and ended up down a YouTube rabbit warren. But also local authorities were saying, you know, this is great, but you can't upload big videos, and actually we don't want all of our teachers creating YouTube accounts because many of them are blocked and all those hurdles. So that's a really nice use case, and that's for the base video rather than the tags. Any other?
There's some questions coming, Louise. We've got
yeah.
What can you embed? What can you embed in ThingLink? I think you covered that, but what can you? That's John Patterson asking that.
Yeah, so the first one there, I'm just going to put this one up here, which is the Scottish Geography Classroom. So you can embed a sway into ThingLink beautifully. It works absolutely. Yeah, it's a great way to embed. You cannot embed a ThingLink into a sway just because there's too much content. However, that said, we are working with Microsoft on developing that. That's in our roadmap. The other things that's in our roadmap is to have an integrated chatbot. Probably said too much. I'm always doing that. But yeah, so that's another thing. So yeah, we work really closely with Microsoft. So at the moment, you can embed your Flipgrid, you can embed Sway, as long as you've got the right permissions, you can embed your PowerPoint slides, your Word Online, and there's something else that you can embed as well. But yeah, they're the main tools that you would embed into with ThingLink. So
someone asked if we can embed a Padlet.
Yes, so Padlet embeds beautifully and works. Yeah, just you can edit the Padlet, and also you can embed your ThingLink into Twitter, and it'll be interactive as well. So there's one here. I tried linking Vimeo and it wouldn't work. Is it only YouTube? No, it should be Vimeo as well, but also Adobe Spark works. But any problems, just ping me a message. You know, we're really accessible as well. So if anyone's got any concerns, we're very happy to take those. Link to the presentation, Jim's going to put into the chat as well. So I'm going to hand over to Dougie now, because you've heard enough from us. It would be really nice to see what you've done with transition in your lab. And I'm just going to bring Dougie up now. There we go.
Hello. Right, so I will go and share my screen with you. So ThingLink is something I've come across in a variety of different settings. I was at a digital CPD a few years ago and I was talked through ThingLink, and I saw a variety of different ways of using it. But this has come up quite recently with transition particularly in mind. So we have, and this is not a great picture of my lab, I have to admit this because it's just taken on the last day as we were leaving the building. Can you see my screen okay, Louise?
Not yet. So if you hit screen.
No, there we are.
Okay.
Can you see my? Oh, there we go.
No, we've lost you now.
Sorry.
Share your screen again.
I am struggling. Is it on stream? Yes, there we go. You can see it now. So I've just taken a picture of my lab, and then we added a variety of different links, just particularly for transition. So particularly our primary 7 pupils that are going to come up to us in S1 to get an idea of what happens in a science lab. So we've added simple things like a basic introduction. So I won't go through that. A variety of different things like showing them exactly what happens in a science lab, because that's something we think that will be different from primary school particularly. They get an idea of some of the experiments that we do within the science lab. So we've got a variety of pictures and videos of different science experiments, as well as some bits of information. We've got them a link to kind of the skills, and as you can see, I've also embedded a link, so that would take them to my world of work and the lab safety code. These are things that we would talk to S1 or primary 7 into S1's pupils before they came to us. We've even got things like our Instagram and our science Twitter, which we believe helps engagement with our science courses, so they can immediately just go on and go to our Twitter and Instagram pages should they wish. And basically they get a nice little tour of what a science lab should look like, what they should expect from it, and just basically a huge amount of information there. We've now then created a variety of these ThingLinks across the entire school, so that pupils can get a look around the entire of Aboyne Academy, which they would have done on their transition days. Another thing that I'd like to share with you, this is one of the things that I've been using with my higher biology pupils. So this is a diagram of quite a complex scientific or biology process. It's a diagram that has a variety of steps. Now, I use this with my hires because instead of just this diagram and then a huge bunch of information in terms of steps, what it does is start to bring it a bit more to life. So just the numbers in terms of the steps is quite simple and easy to follow, and take them through the steps of this chain. But also, as well, as you can see, I've linked in some videos, YouTube videos that again explain it in a bit more detail. And then again, I've even linked in a picture of a past paper question at the end. So that again, once they've gone through this, they've taken their notes, they've seen it come to life a bit through the YouTube videos, and then they can also take their question and they've got their answers there. So there's a variety of things you can embed in there quite easily and simply. And one that I've just been working on, which I think hopefully helps, again, higher biology. But what I'm trying to do is just gather all my resources for distance learning in one place. So again, rather than a variety of different bits, I've got like the video that I've done an introduction to the course. I've broken down each lesson that I've been sending out to my pupils with some easy start off bits of information, some nice pictures, but also then, a link to my video lessons, which at the moment I have put on YouTube, but these are because I only just found out that we can get 10 gig of video there on ThingLink now. So I probably won't be uploading the videos directly onto ThingLink. And again, like Louise said, I've embedded my Microsoft Forms in there. So again, at the end of every lesson that I'm doing remotely, they can watch the video, then go into the Microsoft Forms quiz at the end of that. And I'm just going to be building that up. Hopefully, we won't be too far down that journey by the time we get back to school. But as I grow, the pupils have got one place to go for all their resources, etc., and even some extra resources like a podcast and BBC Bite Size are all going to be linked in one place. So it's a simple way of sharing all the resources for pupils. So that's how I've used it in the transition, but also in this remote learning scenario as well. So hopefully that's been helpful for you.
Oh, thank you, Dougie. I don't know if there's any questions for Dougie. I just love the way that you've used it there. What sort of difference do you think it's making, more to the point?
I think that it is, well, the main thing for this one, for the higher biology, is that it's in one place. I think for the transition, it's really good that we are sharing our stuff. And we'd have pupils in probably a couple of times before the summer, which we just can't have. So having that nice little link to transition pupils to say, look, this is what the labs look like. This is the lay of the school, and getting to know it before they even get here. And I think that's a good thing for just now, but it's also a good thing for a variety of pupils that might be really scared about going to high school. So even if we continue to use these things ongoing, for pupils that are a bit anxious about it, they can have that tour of the school, will be fantastic. And again, just now that I'm having so many different bits of resources for remote learning, to have now an idea of, I can put them all in one place. The pupils can access them in one place as I update it all the time. So that's, again, a really simple and great tool.
I think that you've hit the nail on the head there in terms of being able to pull all of those things into one simple place. It doesn't send people out into different ways. A few questions have been coming through. One from John Patterson here, which is, did you create the diagrams and flow chart? Did you have to do that?
Yes, that's what I did over the weekend. I mean, it was something that I was going to be doing anyway. Now that we were creating those YouTube resources, I wanted something to pull it all together, so the pupils could see where they're going. And yeah, ThingLink, after our conversation last week, it just immediately thought that that's exactly how I bring those two things together: the pathway and the resources. Boom. So yeah, I did create them myself.
That's brilliant. Thanks ever so much, Dougie. Really appreciate it. How easy did you find it to use? Was it quite easy?
It was incredibly easy. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the original ThingLink for my science lab was a 20-minute job. Originally, just to say, look, this is what we could do, and the deputy just liked it so much. He was like, right, let's do it for the entire school. So yeah, it was simple. And once you get used to it, one of those things, once you get used to it, then the easier it gets. And yeah, that one I did for the higher biology was just collating all my stuff this morning. So maybe an hour or so. It was fine.
Fantastic. So thanks ever so much for that example, Dougie. It's been great. I've got some other nice examples now, which I'm just going to show everyone, if that's all right. But just wanted to say thank you. I know that Jim will thank you at the end. Thanks ever so much. So I'm going to do a demonstration in a bit that shows you the responses to some of the questions that you've asked, particularly around using audio and being able to dictate directly into ThingLink, which you can do. But I've got some lovely other examples that I really wanted to show you. So we had a Twitter exchange, which was just lovely. Hopefully you can see this one here. This is actually come from Meldrum Academy of Performing Arts, which has come from Linda, who is the PT of the Performing Arts Department. And what she's done on this one is to embed their social media links, but what she's also done is put loads of really nice audio links, introductions to each of the teachers, lots of lovely kind of examples from the pupils as well, student stories, and the pupils telling their love for the faculty, which I think is just absolutely super. Now, the other example that I wanted to show you was, as many of you all know, my local school here is Keyusi High School. I live in the community here. My daughter went to the school. So, yeah, I'm actually a parent a long time ago. But the school always has its annual trip to London, where the whole year group goes. I think it's the S2, or is it the S1 virtual trip? Sorry, as the train goes past. It's the S1 whole year group trip to London. And yeah, that's really important for some people who don't often get the chance to go to the big smoke. And they're all really sad, of course, that it's been cancelled. So Rachel Richards, who is the home economics teacher, she has set up this virtual trip. So she's gone and studied all the webcams of London, how she's done a how-to, and then what she's done is that she's taken this, and this is just a phenomenal amount of work. She's got this tube map as the overarching map, and then each of these go to different attractions, and there's actually assignments on each of these attractions. And what she's done is she's given the students topics like, you know, go and search for this particular dinosaur, and each of these are completely linked. And I know that it's not a substitute for the real thing, but in the current climate, that's a really nice way for pupils and parents and carers to work together and have an explore around London. And of course, there's lots of nice examples there as well. I was also asked by Jim to show you some pupil work, and this is a fantastic example from a P6 pupil, Alfie, and he was asked to look at biographies, and he studied David Attenborough, and he's from Crosswaite Primary, and each of these are different icons, and he's put a little legend there as well about using volume, and he's actually narrated these himself, and these are all about his David's family, his various awards he's won, and I just think that's a really lovely example of that, bringing it all to life, which is just super. And then, of course, I cannot not show Amanda Pickard's work from Fife. She's been doing some great work with me, building these ThingLinks, and you've seen a lot of these kind of like virtual classrooms kicking around, but I just think this is so cute. What she's done is she's got her dog talking. So I'm going to post that in the chat so you can listen to her dog. I don't know what it's called, but he's certainly having fun introducing all of the points about building sentences. So I'm going to switch now to show you exactly how to create a ThingLink. I'm just going to ask if there's any more particular questions really, really quickly before I go into it. I see you loving the virtual trip. Amazing, really nice example. Nice to see Go Meldrum as well. Okay, so I'm now going to go into ThingLink and show you exactly how it's created. So I'm just going to go into my account here. So when you sign up for a free account, you get all of the functionality. The tag editor is exactly the same. The only thing you can't do is to upload 360-degree video. That's the only caveat to that. And of course, you don't have any students or teachers to collaborate with. But once you get a local authority account, for example, you can have these sharing folders, and it works a bit like a OneDrive folder or Google Drive folder, that you can share that with students or colleagues, and then you can collaborate on your ThingLinks as well. So I'm just going to show you that I've got this ever-present create button, and this is where I can upload an image, I can upload a video, I can upload a 360 image if I like, and upload a 360 video. And for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to upload an image. And just by chance, I happen to have a picture of Dunnottar Castle, one of my favourite Aberdeenshire places to visit. And you can see it's just processing there. It doesn't take long at all. And there you have it. So I have my picture of Dunnottar, and I can now start adding tags. So I've got my blue add tag button, and I can position my tag anywhere I want to on here, and it gives me the option of what tag I want to add. So I can add a text and media tag. I can add a plain text label. That doesn't open up an immersive reader, it's just a plain text label. So if I just wanted to add a plain text label, I could just say Dunnottar. There we go. And you can see there that my tag's there now. But what you've also got on each of these tags is the ability to change the icon. And ThingLink provides a whole range of icons for you to use. So I might put an information icon, and I'll make that red. So now I've got, I think I spelled Dunnottar wrong. And I've got this red tag. But what you might have in, the eagle-eyed ones amongst you, is that you can create your own custom icons as well. So I created custom icons for all of my team on a birthday card that we did for ThingLink when it was 10 years old last week. And it's really easy to make these custom icons. I just use Google Drawings. I found that that's the easiest way to do it, where I can just make a drawing, download it as an SVG graphic, which is a scalable vector graphic, and then upload it back here. And then that stays with your account, so that'll always be there. So I've created my icon there. That's done. And I click done again, and I've now got a text tag. So if I'm going to add another tag here now, which is something around the castle, and this is where I want to add text and media. Again, I can change my icon to be whatever I want it to be. I'll put a nice love heart. So I can add on this tag, I could just put text. So I could just put castle info, and then I could put in a bunch of text here. So I put this is in Stonehaven. And that could just be it. And this would open up into Immersive Reader. But what I can also put is call to action buttons, which will just link out anywhere else. So actually what I could do is I could go on to Wikipedia, do a search for Dunnottar Castle, for example. Here we go, find the website. Now I could embed the whole website, but I'm just going to put a link in there just to show you. So put the button URL in, and then I could change the text to say castle website. There we go. And then that could be it. But actually what I might want to do is to add in images or video, and I can even add in GIFs here. But I can also upload video here. So this is where you saw on Dougie's one, he uploaded an MP3 or an MP4, which was his video introduction. Now you don't get a massive limit on these for the video tags. I think it's about 25 meg, but they're not designed to be 10-minute videos. They're designed to be tags. You can always link out to another ThingLink with your 10 gigabyte video, for example. So here I can just add in other images. This is when you see what's, I've got some images. There we go. That's a nice one there. It's actually quite a big image this, and actually if you put in a lot of images, they'll just scroll as a carousel, but you don't even need to have this text here. It could just be images that you could scroll through. Now Joe Dale, who's on the call, who specializes in languages, asked me about uploading audio. So I can upload audio here as well, which is an MP3 file, which is great, and that's stored on our servers. But you can also just record directly into it. So I could actually just click on that microphone, say, hi everyone, this is a picture of Dunnottar Castle and another lovely gate lodge somewhere near Aviemore that I'm actually sitting in right now. And that's where I'm living at the moment, and that's quite cute. So you've got a whole kind of mix of different types of text and media. When you're ready, click done, and there you have it. That's your text and media. I'm going to add another tag now just to show you where I can embed content from another website. So this is where you could put your embed URL. So I'm sure you're aware, if you create a Sway or you create a slide deck or a Google form or a Microsoft form or a Padlet even, that's where you would embed that code. And I probably can't get the embed code that quickly, but I could put anything. YouTube URL works really well in there as well. And again, you can change the icons. So the last tag that I wanted to show you here is that you can link all your ThingLinks together. So here I can select my scene and find another ThingLink. And here is a nice ThingLink that I created of a health and wellbeing ThingLink. And again, I could change the icon into something that's more relevant. So I'm going to put a play button, and I'm going to make that into a bright yellow play button and click done. So now this ThingLink, when I press it, would go to that ThingLink, and of course all the links in that ThingLink. So you've got an infinite amount of ways of linking your ThingLinks together. And that's exactly how those 360 tours were created, just by linking the ThingLinks together. It's really quite simple. When I'm clicked done, that's it. That's my ThingLink ready. There's another button here for settings. Now, this is quite cool. You can change your color scheme to be whatever you want it to be. So you've got the color hex codes that you can change. And you can also set your tags to pulse. And this means that it draws the attention to those particular tags. And here is where you can upload audio or record your voice that will play throughout the whole ThingLink rather than just in one tag. So that's a really nice way of having narration, music, sound effects if you want to create immersive learning experience. And I'm going to click done. So now my ThingLink's ready to publish. I'm just going to click done, and you can see here it's Donata Castle 2, which was just the title of my image that I uploaded. It's by Louise Jones. If I put that into a collaborative folder, this would be the name of that folder. So it might say, I don't know, a year group or, you know, transition tour where teachers can all collaborate on it. And I now have a few more actions. So here you can move it into a folder, check statistics, replace the background if you needed to, if you wanted to change the base image. What you can also do here is set it so that it's viewable in your organisation only. And that's really nice for, say, an Aberdeenshire account, because you could create ThingLinks that only work in the organisation, or you can share them publicly. You can select them as being unlisted, or you can select them as being private as well. So for this one, I'm just going to publish it as being public. And that's it. That's ready to publish. So now I can hit my share button, and this gives me all these wonderful options. So I can use this embed code and embed that into a website. Now, people are asking me about the views on the Q&A. So this embed code, say that I put that into a Google site or my WordPress site, and I had, I don't know, 10,000 views a day. Instead of being embedded on my website, it would have a link that would take you back to ThingLink to view it. And the reason that we've done this is because, as I mentioned, it's used by really big kind of marketing and editorial purposes, and it helps to make sure that there's no abuse of ThingLink. And also that's, you know, a nice way of saying to people, you know, come and join the party, set up a local authority account, which of course then gives you all of that internal sharing as well. You can also share by link, so you can actually then use that link in any of your other things like slides or link out on a sway, publish it to social, and you can see I can publish this directly to my Teams, as though, although we are a Teams app, share to Classroom, and obviously all of these. It will even let you work offline. So if you have pupils who have got PC or Mac, they'll be able to download that tour and work on that offline as well. So that's just a really nice demo of how it all knits together. So I'm just going to go back and stop sharing my screen so to see if there's any other, so put in a quiz. So what you could do in actual fact is just use a Microsoft form or a Google form as a quiz. Upload limit for audio, Joe. It's not, I would create a separate ThingLink if it was a big one. You know, there is about 25 meg limit for the actual in the tags. And then there's another one here, interactivity on a tag. Can pupils add comments? So they could do if you shared it with them on a folder. So if you had a collaborative folder with your students, and I've seen Dougie do something quite similar to this with his diagram, is that imagine if you created a folder and put the ThingLink in the folder for the pupils to share, to collaborate on. They could actually clone that ThingLink and then add their own image, add their own comments on to show they're working out, for example. Because what I'm going to show you in a minute when I go back into ThingLink is how you can actually clone other ThingLinks as well. And we also have a community where people are sharing the ThingLinks that they've created and that you can clone. And we also provide 360-degree images, for example, UNESCO World Heritage sites that you can clone as well and use. Nice question here from Dougie. You can use a panorama from any phone. It must have been in response to another question, but yeah. So if you've got a Google Street View camera app on your phone, you can use that to take a 360. image. And you can obviously buy things like a Theta 360, which works nicely, or the Insta. And I've seen some training videos where a teacher's used an Insta with the magic selfie stick, which you can rub out, and they're walking around the campus, and then they've removed the selfie stick, and then they've put hotspots in as well. So someone else is asking about assistive technology. Yep. So of course, with assistive technology, it's got immersive reader built in. So that is absolutely the right way to use the assistive technology that is actually built directly into it. So you won't need drag and dictation if you've got text to speech built into the tags already. If you're using a device such as I'm on a Chromebook today, you can actually use the device's dictate function and dictate your ThingLink tags as well. And I've created a separate video on how to do that. Any other questions? I'm just going to bring Jim in here. Jim, any thoughts before I just kind of round up with my sort of final examples? And
no, some good questions there. Joe, again, ThingLink used for the escape room. You could see how that would work well. No, I think that was it. Susan had asked about analytics. Did you cover that? Did I see that?
Oh,
yeah,
no, I'll do that right now. That's a really good, I just popped that back in. Right, so I'm going to go back on to a ThingLink here that I've got. Let me just find one that I've been working on myself that's probably, let me have a look, statistics. So this is one of the London tours. This is a good example, Susan. So with your ThingLinks, you also get all-time statistics and tags. This is fantastic so that a teacher can see which tags have been clicked on, so we can see which ones have been opened here. And this will work on each of your scenes and each of your tags as well. So you can see where it's been embedded and where it's been viewed, but you can also see it by tag as well. And it will show you the time that's spent on all of those tags, and you can see the graphs built up over time. So this one's been viewed 709 times, and that's the amount of clicks, and you can see that over the time as well. So yeah, that's pretty powerful to have as an analytics tool.
Yeah, that looks really good. That, and a lot of teachers look for that as well, and they find out what was attracting the youngsters into that image. So that's really good. No, I think that's all the questions covered there.
Excellent. So the last thing I was just going to kind of go into the actual show you what else it comes with. So you've seen the account page. So I just share my screen again. So here I'm logged into my ThingLink. If I go back to my account page, when you first log in, you'll see that you've got your welcome screen, and this has got the 360-degree image library. So if I go into here, you can see that this is an image library that's been created, and every now and then we release a lot of ones that we've bought. So for Christmas, to celebrate Philip Pullman, we purchased and put together a whole collection of Northern Lights. So what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to go into any of these and clone, and it will make your own ThingLink of that particular ThingLink, which is just super. And then once you're starting to have a look around, the other things you can see an explore page. And again, there's a whole great kind of catalog of 360 that we have collated for you. But then there's also all the ones that have been shared by our community as well. So if you publish something publicly and we decide to showcase it, then you can see it published here, and that you would be able to clone. So there's just some phenomenal ones here. Some of them you'll see that I post on Twitter quite a bit. And there's also some work here that someone's done. This is really popular, which is the periodic app, which is done by Mark, ICT evangelist, and he's just put all these interactive apps on there. Going over to the right, you can see you've got there's a really great support bank, and on your account page, that's where you'll find other tools that you can use, such as your statistics, your media, which will be your tags, icons that you've uploaded. You can even create your own courses through it as well, and create your own projects and use it as a workflow tool. But I know that you probably would use your Teams or your Google Classroom for your main workflow tool rather than use something else for that. But we are used in countries where they don't have anything apart from ThingLink to use for their assignments and their projects. So I think that's probably, we're coming up to the hour. I hope that's covered everything that you wanted me to, Jim. I love sharing what we're doing with ThingLink. And we have offered free upgrades to MIE, Microsoft Innovative Educators in Scotland, and also to Google certified trainers in Scotland, and also to Apple ADEs and the learning professional specialists. You won't be left to flounder if you get the organisation account for the authority. I won't be a stranger. You'll be able to invite me back, and we'll run more webinars and training sessions, and I'm not going to be a stranger.
No, that's really good. And we had one more question. Joe is the question poser of the day as well. He'd put in, is Flipgrid embeddable into because
absolutely. Flipgrid works beautifully. So I don't know if you saw the first image that I showed of the Giant's Causeway. That's got Flipgrid embedded in. It's a Microsoft native tool now. So yeah, it works perfectly. I should have said that. So yeah, Sway, Flipgrid, Forms all work beautifully within ThingLink as well. So just have a play around with it, set up a free account. So don't feel that you are losing out if you create a free account and then suddenly, there's an offer to use a local authority account, because all you do, it's really simple. You would be given a code, and then you join a group with that code, which would then make you part of the organisation, and all your content would come with you as well. So you're not going to lose anything. So yeah, it's all there for you.
Well, that's good. And for Aberdeenshire teachers, we're looking into that. So that's in hand just now. Can't promise anything, but that's in hand. So I'd just like to say thank you to Dougie. That was great to see live examples. Always good to see teachers being put on the spot and doing a bit of presentation. That's really good. And for Aberdeenshire teachers, we're still looking for guest presenters to take the helm for that as well. And once again, thank you to Louise, because that was brilliant. And it really showcases the power of imagery, which we all know is a positive power for youngsters, but also be able to add in all those elements which could make what was originally quite maybe a well-known village like the Devil's Causeway, but then you've managed to put into questions and forms and pictures and information and links. I think it's just really, really good. So. And for somebody welcoming yourself into the science class, where everything is.
Absolutely.
I can tell you, a Boyne Academy is not easy to find its way around. So having a map around here is quite good. So yes, thank you very much. Really good, and really pleased to have you on board. And hopefully we'll see you again. Thank you very much, and thank you everybody else.
Thanks ever so much, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. It's just @ThingLink or @ThingLink_edu, and I'm @ScotlandLouise on Twitter, and I'm always sharing, and I'm always looking for examples as well. I just love it when people ping me with what they're doing, and then I can share them as well. So
that's great. Thank you very much. I did try to put the link to the slides in the chat, but it failed. the digital money failed. I don't know why it didn't appear, but I'll try. You've done it. Oh, well, that's fine. So if you haven't got the slides, it's also on our team site in Aberdeenshire. But once again, thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.